This is the third video in a series of 3 videos for those who are applying for a faculty position of any rank. And so in the first video, I talked about simply the application process of submitting your package to a university or college for this teaching job. In the second video, I overviewed the elements of the Zoom call interview that you would be doing with the hiring committee. And in this third video, I will be addressing the campus visit. If you are someone who's currently applying for academic jobs or hope to in the future, this video is for you. And of course, I also suggest keeping your mind open towards non-academic jobs as well, because as I mentioned in every video, there are over 50,000 PhDs minted every single year in the United States alone. And so the job market is just absolutely saturated with PhDs, and it's extremely competitive. So again, don't take it personally. It's not you, it's the job market. So congratulations, you have made it through the 3 different steps of the application process. Originally, there were about 100 candidates that applied to this job. The hiring committee did their due diligence and their service work and got those 100 applications down to 10 candidates that they invited onto the Zoom call. They had to organize these on 2 different days, and they did about 5 interviews per day. So all of those calls were back to back to back in 30 minutes. And so you came across well on the camera, and now they want to meet you in person. In the first video, I was wearing my suit jacket to just represent the kind of formality of the university and how you don't know what you're getting into. You're just applying to this job and you have all these assumptions and stereotypes. You don't know who's on the committee. And it's just this very kind of formal process at that step. In the second video, I took my jacket off and had short sleeves shirt so that you can see that we all have a bit of individuality now on the Zoom call, and you can see the specific individuals that are on the committee. These are the 7 people deciding your fate. So you really want to make note of who they are, memorize their names, call them by name, address them by name, and now you're coming to campus. And so I am down to a tank top to show that on a campus visit, let's say this visit is going to last about 2.5 days, you're going to get quite intimate with the committee and all kinds of people across campus. And this is definitely the place where you're going to start to have some friction now. You're going to kind of see like who you like and who you don't like, and these little kind of personality quirks that everyone has. And you're going to start to also rub them the wrong way, or hopefully they really like you. But you're going to spend a lot of time with these people at any rate, and so they're really going to start to get to know you. And you have to remember that 2.5 days, you're on, you know, the whole time that you're with the committee. All these times that seem kind of like down times, you're still on the interview. The campus visit is a marathon, and you need to prepare accordingly. Let's just imagine that your campus visit is going to be about 2.5 days. You're going to have about 25 meetings, and these meetings, and they gave you a schedule before you arrived via email, and these meetings range from the most important is you're going to do a job talk talking about your research. You might additionally do a teaching demonstration. In our case, particularly at a teaching liberal arts school, we only have them do a teaching demonstration, and we even give them the topic that they're going to present on, and we have each of the 3 candidates do the exact same topic so we can compare. You know, it's not apples and oranges, but everyone presented the same topic. They might be presenting to the same classroom, and so these students that you might be presenting in front of might have already sat through, this is the 3rd time that they've heard this exact lecture. So just be aware of who your audience is, and the audience is going to be all kinds of members of the community. You're going to do your teaching presentation, you're going to see these students in the classroom. You really want to nail this teaching or research presentation So your classroom demeanor, now you're going to have 7 different faculty, you're going to have some indifferent students sitting in this classroom, so you really want to connect. There might be a video camera in the classroom, so you really want to come across as confident and calm. So there's your teaching demonstration, your research demonstration. You might have a interview with the entire committee again. You already did that in Zoom, but now you're going to be in a room with all 7 people. And then you might additionally have to meet with all of these 7 people individually, 30-minute meeting. You go to one person's office, they walk you to the next person's office, you go to the next person's office. Your schedule might be jam-packed with these 30-minute meetings, back to back to back to back, all across the campus. So one person walks you to the next place and so on. So it's a marathon. You want to be comfortable, you want to be dressed comfortable, have comfortable shoes, you want to have a bag with some stuff with you, maybe a bottle of water, some snacks, whatever you need to deal with your own personal anxieties in getting through the day and really giving everyone a good impression that you meet. They might have picked you up at the hotel at 8 a.m. Maybe you're having breakfast with some students, you're having breakfast with someone, you're having lunch with someone, you're meeting with students. They're going to introduce you to the students in the major. They're going to be introducing you perhaps to some niche students. These students are doing research in this area, or they're part of this student club. So you also want to have questions and engagement ready for students. Then you're going to meet other people on campus. You're going to meet the dean, you're going to meet the provost, you might meet the president if it's a very small school. At our school, we try to have candidates meet the president. So you're going to meet administrators. We have people meet the religious friars. You know, we're a Franciscan school, so they meet the head of missions there. So hopefully our candidate can talk about how they really want to be at a Franciscan Catholic school in particular and be able to speak to that point. So definitely read the mission statement again on the website. And then you're going to go out to dinner every night with certain members of the committee. Just remember that this committee is doing their service work, and they might be more excited about getting that free dinner tonight than really about speaking to you. And so what I would say at this stage of the campus visit, because remember, you have 2.5 days of 25 different meetings. You don't need to be talking nonstop. What you should actually be doing is showing the committee and all of these folks that you did your due diligence and your research. You know what kind of school you're applying to, you know what kind of student demographics there are. You know every person on the committee, you remember their name, you remember their area of research, and now you can make people feel good about themselves, right? Like, they're not here because they're your biggest fan. They're here because they're doing service work for their own personal reasons, such as they're going up for tenure. They need more service on their CV. They're in the department and they were forced into this. They're not really that interested in you. Everyone on the committee already knows now your research, your teaching, all the details about you. Now they want to kind of get to know you on a personal level. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What kind of hobbies would you be interested in Albany, New York? You know, I might ask you, are you into hiking? Do you want to go to the Adirondack Mountains? Are you an outdoorsy person? Do you want to live in a particular type of area? What kind of recreational activities are you interested in, so that I can mention those activities that we offer here in the city? So this is just more of a personal level, and it's a long time with people. You know, you might have had them pick you up at 8 a.m. in the hotel, you were in their car, you saw the state of their car, what kind of car they drive, how dirty it was, their personal belongings in the car. These are all clues for you to have a conversation about. You don't want to have like awkward silences and stuff like that. You don't want to talk too much. At this stage, everyone knows your areas of expertise, so you don't need to go on and on about yourself. What really you should do, and what's impressed me with candidates, is that they did a lot of research on every single committee member, and in particular, someone read my papers, they watched some of my videos, they were aware of my work, and they could compliment it, you know? So then I'm like, wow, you know, I really like this person. They are interested in me. They actually spent time reading my article that only 3 other people on earth have ever read. So that makes me, the committee member, feel good. So this is the time to kind of kiss some ass, frankly. I mean, the committee members, these 7 people hold your fate in their hand, and they need to like you, in addition to thinking you're competent, in addition to thinking that you have the skills for the job. And of course, when they're making their decisions, they can't say all these random discriminatory things about you. They need to stick to the script and stick to the actual job application. What are the requirements of the job, and do you meet that, yes or no? And so those are the conversations that they'll have when they're actually making their decision. But at this point, they're human to human, hanging out with each other. And some of these conversations, even though they might verge on being discriminatory, may come up in the decision conversation later on when the committee's meeting. And of course, committees are notorious for saying all kinds of inappropriate things, and they might call each other out on it. For example, at my school, I've been at my school for 14 years, and only this last year did the school itself require that we take some kind of training on non-discrimination. So for the 13 previous years, you know, we weren't officially trained in how to not be discriminatory. And so some faculty might still be confused about what the law is, what questions they can ask, and what they can use against you. So just be aware of that. You really want to make sure that you take care of your body in this endeavor. You know, if you have any kind of disabilities that you want to mention to make your process on campus easier, you're potentially going to be walking around campus a lot, going up and down stairs, stuff like that for 8 hours, right? So you don't want to really wear the high heels, and it's, you know, the winter time up there. It's Albany, New York. We just had a snowstorm. We're out in the snow. Do you have an adequate coat to manage this weather? We need to walk across campus. Maybe someone doesn't want to drive you across campus because parking is so tight on campus that if I move my car, I'm going to lose my parking spot. And so that is a bigger hardship than taking care of our candidates' needs. So, you know, these little things can add up over 2.5 days, 12 hours a day, and you don't want to have these little tiny details affect your chances at the job. So think about your shoes. Think about what kind of clothes you're going to wear. You want to come across as professional, yet you want to be comfortable for a 12-hour marathon. And have a bag of stuff that can get you through, you know, snacks, water bottle. Have a notebook so that you can go into the bathroom and take notes on these people that you're meeting so that you don't lose all this information. Imagine spending 12 hours and you've just met like 10 people, important key people today. So do you remember them at the end of the day? Why not take as many bathroom breaks as you can and go in the bathroom just to have a moment alone to yourself, you know, whether you need to go or not, you know, just take that moment to breathe and have a little notebook and just write down some notes throughout the day so you can remember people's name, remember important points about them, and follow up with that later. Just pace yourself and know that you're also going to be eating every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with people. So just plan ahead accordingly about how, you know, you're going to be eating, you're going to be talking. And so even just those kinds of details, like what kind of food are you going to order? Are you going to order like a taco and have it like dripping down you, and you're getting stuff on your face, and you're talking to the committee members? Are you drinking alcohol? You know, maybe the committee members, it's like they're going to drink some alcohol, because think about it from their perspective. They're getting a free dinner. The school's probably not covering the alcohol, but you know, they want to have a drink. They're finally out with their colleagues. They're more interested in talking to their fellow colleagues than you. You know, this is just a job for them, a service job for them to do. So are they drinking alcohol? Perhaps then you could have 1 glass of alcohol, but I would absolutely recommend not drinking alcohol at all. Maybe there's some peer pressure to drink alcohol, which is, you know, really uncool. But if there is, and if you're kind of sensing that these are, you know, big drinkers and that you would fit in better as a drinker, drinker, you can still say like, look, I do drink, but just not tonight because I really want to be clear-headed and give my best performance for this job interview. But they can understand that, you know, that you're not a non-drinker if there's that pressure, but I just don't see how it would benefit you to be drinking alcohol in this crucial dinner. And definitely you don't want to drink too much and get tipsy. Like, even if people are really getting comfortable with you, like you know that next morning regret. You definitely don't want to do that on a job interview. And you've got to be ready for pickup tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So take it easy. Order something appropriately. You don't want to order like the most expensive meal on the menu. You don't want to eat something complicated. You're going to be talking. So a lot of times candidates their food is going cold while they're talking. So you definitely want to have questions for the people you're having dinner with so that they can do some talking, you can do some eating, but you know, make it graceful. So don't order, you know, the sloppy joes and stuff like that. Like, eat something that you can eat in front of people without being self-conscious. So you have the dinner and then go back to your hotel, make sure you get some good night's sleep, and then you're ready to go the next day. At this point, you're really getting to know people, and the committee members already are starting to have some personal feelings towards you. Some of them are already annoyed with you, and some of them really like you. You know, they really could see working together with you, and you can hopefully see that in their face. And so you really want to just work it on that personal level. You want to be talking about your hobbies. You want to be talking about ways in which you can collaborate. Like, hey, this is your area of expertise. This is mine, really closely aligned. Perhaps we could do a project together. We could write a paper together. We could co-teach a class together. And so that'll get them excited. Like, now you're touching on their personal development and what could contribute to their own development. And so you want to see, like, how can you serve these people on the committee and get them excited about you and what you could offer to them personally. So any potential research collaboration would be a fantastic area to kind of sense out how they're feeling and, you know, pitch those kinds of fantasies. Then of course you want to fulfill, like, you really want to ask questions about what the department needs are and how you can step up and really fill these gaps that they have. So ask them what they're really looking for, what the gaps they're trying to fill are, and how you're the perfect person for that. And then connect on that personal level. What are their hobbies? Like, wow, you also love tattoos and reptiles? Like, wow, I would have never ever imagined that one of our candidates also loves snakes. So how fantastic. I'll take you to the next reptile expo. You can babysit my reptiles. I'll babysit your reptiles. Like, wow, what a friendship, you know, born. So get them really excited about you on all these personal and professional levels. And you know, you have to make this great impression. It's really hard to keep a great first impression over 2.5 days when you're meeting 25 people in person 12 hours a day. So just really pay attention and think about all the things that could go wrong, that could make you cranky, you're hungry, you're hangry, you're coming across in a rude and mean way. Like, you don't want that to happen. So 2.5 days of, you know, giving your great first impression, and at the end of it, they're driving you to the airport, you're exhausted and you're so ready to get past security and get towards your gate and, you know, call your best friend and let them know how it went. So that's the end of the campus interview. And the next step, you know, there was only 3 candidates, so you have 33% chance of getting this job. And you have to only beat out 2 other people, and they have to like you the best, think you're the most competent at the job, and also that they can endure your personality and your personal quirks, which they did get to know a bit about after seeing you for 2.5 days. So know that this is the end of the process for them. They have 3 candidates. They know who they're going to pick now. They're going to now contact the dean and say, this is our first choice candidate. The dean is going to make the offer to that candidate. That candidate is going to accept or not accept. That may be you. You might be number 3. Say that first candidate declines the job because they have an elite PhD, they got an offer elsewhere, they're off to their research institution. So now you were candidate number 2, let's say, and they make the offer to you and you accept. So you can imagine that after you leave and get on that plane, you know you're candidate 1, 2, or 3. So they're going to be contacting you shortly, within weeks, to let you know that you got the job. If they didn't contact you, again, if you were rejected, you're not going to find that out until they've completely made the offer and got that person to sign on. So you're not going to find out and get that rejection letter until the very end of their entire legal process. So if you don't hear from them, you know, that's not a good sign, you know, but ask them, and all candidates always ask us, what's your timeline? When can I expect to hear from you? So if you're accepted for the job, you're going to hear from them before, and if you're not accepted for the job, you're going to hear from them at a later date. So that's the end process. And then they're going to make you the offer, and you might negotiate a little bit, and then congratulations, you've landed a very, very elusive academic job. So I hope this helps you, and definitely let me know, you know, in the comments what specific questions you have about this process of applying for a job. And I would love to talk to folks one-on-one and really give you some insight into the process and encouragement, because I want to give back to junior colleagues in the academic profession and just give you some insights that I've gained over my career in this profession. So definitely let me know how it's going for you, and I wish you the best of luck with your application.